guys, today I wanted to walk you through some of the best kept secrets when it comes to trying to get a flat tummy area. A lot of videos that I see on this topic are like, to get skinny, you have to lose fat, calorie deficit. And I mean, that's like vaguely true, I guess, but I'm hoping to give you something a little bit more practical and insightful so that, you know, you are more prepared for your journey and can apply things that are actually useful. So if you're excited to learn all of the best kept secrets about having a flat midsection, give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to see future videos. And without further ado, let's do some real talk, because there is something about having a flat stomach that is not talked about very often. Usually you see people saying, flat tummy in 30 days, do this to get a flat tummy. I'm just gonna throw the first truth bomb at you, get this out of the way. Having a washboard flat midsection is not physically achievable for every person, especially women. Marketing would like to make you think that, you know, if you do this program, you'll get a flat tummy, but if you're one of the people that just is unable to achieve a flat tummy, then you're not going to be able to achieve flat tummy no matter how many times they try to guarantee you results. There are multiple reasons that many women will not be able to achieve a perfectly flat stomach, all of which are perfectly okay, perfectly acceptable, and if you learn to come to terms with them, your life will be forever changed. Number one is the fact that women need to be at a higher body fat percentage than compared to men in order to be healthy. Now, some women can be at a very healthy body fat percentage, be very lean, and have a very flat stomach. Some women need to be at a higher body fat percentage in order to maintain their health. And if you have any tendency to store your fat in your midsection rather than in your limbs, well, you're stuck with a little bit of extra fat in your midsection. And that's okay. Also, there's another thing that's true for women and men as well, but this tends to affect women's bodies and how our midsection looks a little bit more. And that is the fact that you have these things called internal organs. These internal organs sit a little bit differently in each person. And for a lot of women, some of the organs press out against the lower part of the stomach. If you have any weird protrusions, that's probably not a good thing and you should see a doctor, but for a lot of women it's just a little tiny bump from some organs in there that cause your stomach to never be perfectly flat. The only way to fix this would be to have internal body organ reconstructive surgery. Don't recommend that. Instead, I recommend getting as lean as you want within a healthy range and then acknowledging the fact that you have internal organs that may or may not be slightly pressing on your lower abdomen and getting rid of that as a goal. Because as soon as you don't have an unattainable goal set as a goal, you stop feeling like you're failing. You stop feeling like you're not doing something good enough. You stop getting caught up in the mindset that you need to just push harder and diet harder and exercise harder and just push your body to unhealthy limits. You can let go of all of that and just focus on your health, focus on working with what you have, doing what you can, and just letting go of the things outside of your control. So those are two things that really aren't changeable, reasons why you may not be able to have a perfectly flat stomach ever. Sorry, told you it was gonna be a truth bomb. Sorry if I broke any of your hopes and dreams, but there are some other reasons why you may be experiencing some amount of non-flatness in the abdominal region that aren't permanent and are things that if you work on, you can change. So these are bloat and water retention. So if you're bloated, I mean, pretty much everyone at some point has been bloated. You know how drastically that distorts your figure. Maybe you would actually naturally have a flat stomach, but you're bloated all the time, so you just don't look like it. And this may be driving you to misplace your effort. If you don't realize what's going on, if you don't realize that your stomach isn't flat because you're bloated, if you're just trying to eat less calories, exercise more, do whatever weird detoxes there are, and try to lose fat that way, that's not going to be fixing the problem. And it's not going to make you look any leaner in this area. Instead, working on fixing the bloating is not only going to help, reduce the size of your stomach, but it's also going to help you be healthier overall, which, if you do have extra fat on top of the bloating, is going to in turn help you lose extra fat. So the second thing that is potentially changeable and maybe a little bit more complex for some people than others is water retention. If you are retaining excess water for whatever reason, you are overall going to look a little bit puffier than you would if you weren't retaining water. There are many different reasons that you may be retaining water though, and some of them are a lot easier to fix than others. A good example of an easy fix for water retention is if you are overtraining. I recently went through this a couple months ago. I realized that I was overtraining. I cut all my training and I dropped 5 pounds in like a couple days because I was retaining a ton of extra water as my body was trying to repair itself from all of the damage that I was doing to it, and it couldn't keep up. So as soon as I stopped exercising, it didn't need all that excess water anymore, and it just let it go. Not only did I lose a ton of weight, I looked a lot leaner too. But other reasons that you might be retaining water could be a little bit more complex. If you are sick, if you have a chronic illness, you're a lot more likely to retain water. But honestly, if your health is so compromised that that's the reason that you're storing a ton of extra water, I would really suggest your main focus not be on getting a flat stomach. Like, it should 100% be your priority to just get healthy before you approach any aesthetic goals. But if you've ever woken up one day and looked puffier than normal, it could be because you ate more sodium the day before and so you're retaining more water. It could be because you ate a lot more carbs than you usually do the day before and so you're retaining a lot more water. And eventually that will just flush out of your system. So water retention is really something that can fluctuate day to day, month to month, depending on your lifestyle, depending on what you're doing with your body, your health, etc. But it is something that usually at some point is something that you can eliminate. Another thing that really is not commonly talked about when it comes to getting a lean midsection is hormonal imbalance. For women, if you are storing the majority of your fat in your abdomen, that's usually a sign that you do have some amount of hormonal imbalance going on. In a healthy female body with properly balanced hormones, a lot more fat will be stored in like the hips and the thighs and some in the arms. A woman who has pretty skinny arms and legs, but somehow has managed to store fat in her abdominal region. That's not because she's training wrong. Well, I mean, training wrong could cause hormonal imbalances, but it's not because she's necessarily doing anything wrong inherently with her training or nutrition, but it's probably because her hormones are out of balance for one reason or another. So if this is you, if you're like, wow, my arms and my legs are really skinny, but I'm storing a lot of fat in my midsection, go to your doctor. Like, look into hormonal imbalances. Do what you can to optimize your hormones. Exercising properly and having a nutrient-dense diet that is appropriate for your body are going to be two of the best things that you can do to optimize your hormones, but for a lot of people that's not the only thing that they need, so seeking medical advice for this is probably the best way to go about it. But again, no 30 days to a flat tummy challenge or flat tummy tea is going to help you eliminate that problem. That's something that stems from another source and is going to really benefit you if you focus on healing your body first, and then everything will usually fall into place after. So those are all the big reasons that you may not have a flat tummy that are not often talked about, but you might be at the point where you're like, Marissa, okay, get to the point. Like, how do I actually get a flat tummy? Assuming none of those things apply to you. Usually one of those applies to someone, but let's say you're perfectly healthy, you just have a little bit of excess fat. Having a lean stomach does in fact come down to being at a low body fat percentage. I know in the beginning of this video I made fun of the people that say that, but like, that is still true. You do still have to have a low enough body fat percentage for the leanness to appear. But having a low body fat percentage does not just come from having a low amount of body fat. It comes from having a lowish amount of body fat, but also a muscular base. If you have not a lot of body fat, but also not a lot of muscle, you are what is traditionally called skinny fat. And this is why people who are like, I'm really skinny, but my stomach isn't flat, assuming you're not storing a ton of fat in your stomach, it's a hormonal imbalance. But if you are just generally like pretty skinny and you're like, my stomach is still kind of like flabby-ish, it's probably because you actually don't have a low body fat percentage, you just have a low amount of body fat. The way you can decrease your body fat percentage from there is by building muscle. And I get this question so frequently on my Saturday Q&As on Instagram that I really did want to address skinny fat specifically when it comes to having a lean stomach, because it's not that you have too much body fat percentage. I see so often people who are skinny fat who are like, I need to lose more fat. That is not the case. You don't need to lose more fat if you're already like pretty skinny. You just need to build muscle, and that will make you appear leaner. So the skinny fat physique aside, most people, the average person, is going to need to lose fat and build muscle. Now, I have multiple videos where I go in depth on how to lose fat and how to build muscle, so I'm not gonna stand here and just talk about that for the rest of this video. Instead, I will link a bunch of those videos down in the description. Here's the kind of general plan for how to incorporate these based on your body type, because where you're starting is really going to change what you need to focus on in order to become leaner. So as I already said, if you are skinny fat, your main focus should be building muscle. You should immediately start in a surplus and start lifting weights. That will help you increase your muscle mass, which decreases your body fat percentage without necessarily decreasing the actual amount of body fat. And within a couple months, I guarantee you're gonna see amazing results and be like, wow, I should have done this a long time ago. Now, if you're like the average person who has a couple extra pounds of body fat, maybe hasn't resistance trained before, doesn't have a lot of muscle, you're gonna wanna focus on both, but not simultaneously. You want to alternate between bulking and cutting cycles. So periods of time where you're just focusing on building muscle, resistance training with eating in a surplus, and then periods of time where you're just focusing on losing fat. So that would be resistance training and eating in a calorie deficit. How long you spend in each is really going to depend specifically on your body, but in general, like, as a good starting point, you could maybe do a month in each. So a month of a small bulk and then a month of a small cut. Eventually, you'll build some muscle, you'll lose some fat, and you'll get to where you want to be. And then this last one may actually be kind of surprising. If you're someone who has quite a bit of excess body fat, you would maybe consider yourself overweight, then you actually should probably start with focusing on building muscle. Especially if you had tried dieting in the past and you aren't eating a lot of calories, you're gonna benefit so much more from focusing on building muscle, which will speed up your metabolism, which will in turn ultimately help you burn body fat, than you will from immediately starting to try to cut more calories, lose more fat, and tank your metabolism even farther. So if you're somewhat overweight and haven't lifted before, you could probably start at maintenance calories and just start lifting, because you'll get all of the newbie gains, you'll build muscle, you'll minimize your chances of putting on any excess body fat, you'll get stronger, you'll speed up your metabolism, and then eventually, once your metabolism is where you want it to be and you can go into a healthy cut, then you can do that. But for a lot of people, this process takes about 3 months, 6 months to start building a really solid muscle and metabolic base before they're ready to start a cut. And honestly, this is where I start with most of my personal training clients who want to lose fat regardless of their body fat percentage if their metabolism isn't where it should be before they can cut. You know, if I get someone who's like average height and weight maintaining their weight on 1,500 calories, I'm like, okay, here's what we're doing. We're lifting heavy, we're eating in a small surplus, reverse dieting, getting your metabolism up, building a solid muscle base. That will take time, but then we're just gonna cut and you're gonna lose body fat and it's gonna be great. So as you can see, regardless of where you're starting, muscle is key. Now, I will admit, there are exceptions to this rule. There are people who've never touched a weight in their life, who've never given a second thought to their nutrition, who like don't care about fitness, who have lean stomachs. A lot of that is genetics, a lot of that is luck, a lot of that is potential like accidental lifestyle factors where they are actually really active without intending to be really active, and so they just burn a ton of calories throughout the day and they're able to maintain their leanness. Like, there are people for whom these rules do not apply. However, for at least 90% of the population, 90% of you watching this, the average person, building muscle is going to make everything so much easier. You know what? I just decided that instead of linking every single helpful video down in the description, I'm going to make like a little PDF of all the videos with like descriptions so you can pick which ones that you want to watch, and then I'll link the PDF down in the description. That should make it a lot easier to sort through what you want to, because I keep thinking of different videos that I have that are going to be super helpful for all of you who are trying to get leaner and trying to flatten out your midsection. So there'll be one link down there with all of the resources that you need. So overall, we've discussed reasons that you may never have a flat stomach or things that may be standing in your way that have nothing to do with your body fat percentage. And then we've also discussed how building muscle is absolutely key in getting a lean midsection. If you guys have anything else to add to this, please do leave it down in the comment section below. We can have a little discussion. If you don't have anything to add, definitely let me know what the biggest thing you are struggling with in your fitness journey is so that I can make future videos about it, help you out, let you know what you gotta do to get to where you wanna be. And in the meantime, if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up because it really does support me and my channel, and I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your exercise buddies. If you want to see more videos from me all about fat loss and muscle building, you can check them out over here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down there and the little notification bell to get notified when I post future videos, and I will see you very soon. Bye.